Hello everyone, my name is Mimi79 and today I've got a video from round 3 of the Nations Cup exhibition season. So we're here at Interlagos in the Super Formula cars. So Antonio disconnected there, which is unfortunate, but I guess that's a free place for me. So 391 points on offer, which is pretty good considering this is the 4th slot of the day. So in the previous 3 slots I managed to get a win in slot 1, although admittedly the lobby was not very strong. So get out for qualifying then. It's very important you go in your own air for this one, because you won't gain that much from the slipstream on the straight, and also the dirty air in the corners is just going to be too much. It's not worth the risk in my opinion. So going out of the pits here, really long pit exit here at Interlagos, so it does take a while for you to get out of the pits and to begin your qualifying lap. But as you can see here, I've joined Distinct Gaming Limited, so I'm really excited to have joined the team. Now obviously it's been about 4 months since I made my last video, so things have obviously changed since then. But I'm really looking forward to growing as a driver and to hopefully represent them in future competitions as well. So beginning our qualifying lap here behind Rick Helblum, but we've managed to time it quite well so we're not in his slipstream. I think we're about 8.5 tenths behind or so. So we've managed the gap pretty well. So a bit of a scruffy turn 1. Also went on the overtake a little bit too late. Definitely could have gained half a tenth or so there. So the key with qualifying is to maximise your overtake button. So we went off it there just for a brief moment because I didn't really want to compromise my braking zone, as you could really get thrown off by it because you're carrying so much more speed compared to, say, time trial. So through here, definitely could have gone through that quicker. So unfortunately cut out there. No idea why that happened. Cut out also a bit later on in the footage. Again, absolutely no idea why that happened. Normally never happens. I didn't cut it out or anything. I just recorded the race after I finished because I was quite happy with how I drove in this one. So out of the final corner there, not too great, but could be worse to be fair. We hit the apex quite well. We're going to use the overtake button on the exit, and on the run to the line it's going to be a 1:13.5. Rick in front actually setting a 13.1, which is just really quick. So then beginning our second run then, we're going out to the final corner once again, clipping the apex quite nicely. Really important actually that you get a good exit out of the last corner, because you can definitely carry a lot of speed. And also using the overtake button throughout the whole main straight is really important. So into turn 1 then, nailing the braking point quite well. We're using the inside curb and we managed to get a much straighter exit, and that's going to allow us to get out the power early and also use the overtake button earlier. And into turn number 4 then, we're actually half a tenth up. So into turn number 4 then, is it? Got a little bit wide on the exit, but I think we carried a lot more speed through the apex, so I think we still gained time overall. So through here, letting the car roll through the corner, and then here just braking a bit too much and a bit too early. That's really going to slow us down, and it's definitely going to cost us a lot of lap time. Hasn't felt too bad so far though. So into the Albon corner, just get on the exit, get on the power on the exit as quickly as possible, use the overtake button, but over half a tenth down. So all the time we gained in sector 1 we've lost and more. Then out of the final corner wasn't too bad, definitely felt okay, but on the run to the line it looks like it's not going to be an improvement unless we've had a mega last sector. Unfortunately we haven't. It's only 7,000 off our previous attempt. So qualifying P3 there, Kellersville managed to go quicker by half a tenth. Now if we had that sector 1 on our actual lap, then we would have been P2, but can't change it now. So I was debating actually whether to start on the softs or not, but I actually went for the mediums because I felt like going on the mediums at the start was actually quicker, because the softs and the first stint died way too quickly. Like after 9 laps it wasn't worth using them anymore, arguably 8, but as you can see there, lining up 3rd on the grid in top split, mind you. Now I don't want to go on about it because, you know, regardless, again, footage cutting out a little bit there. Regardless, qualifying 3rd is always a good position to be in, but, you know, given its top split, I think it's also a bit of a bonus. So, beginning the start now, we actually burned fuel at the start. Now this is because you want to have a light car at the start. I have no idea why people didn't fuel burn, because you could easily make it to the end while fuel burning. But going around the outside of Albertor at the start, I didn't use overtake, which is a bit of a mistake. So we are now in 4th place, but it's not too big of an issue. It's only the first corner. We didn't die, which is a good thing. So into turn 4 then, Sherp gave us a bit of a bump. I suspected at this point he was on the soft tyres, because he was managing to brake so much later. And to be honest, I do understand why he did start the soft, because from P5 I feel like starting on the soft is just about acceptable, but anything below that really is just it's a bit debatable. So going through the middle sector then, being really careful on the throttle, just because I don't want to get a bit of snap oversteer and potentially ruin my race, especially as everyone's really bunched up. On lap 1 you'll lose a lot of places, so short shifting there a bit just to save fuel and also so we don't go wide. And then here out the final corner, not too bad. We've got Sherpa right behind us though, so I think at this point it was really clear to me that he was on soft, so I just decided I'm not going to fight it. Used a little bit of the overtake button, and then it's going to go for the move into turn 1. Now I didn't go defense because I knew that it was just going to be pointless. I didn't want to lose time battling him, so he hit Albertor there actually on the apex, but thankfully he didn't lose us too much time. Now Rick at this point is just gone from Kellisford and the rest of us behind, so Sherpa going for the move, which is fair enough because he's on the quicker tyre at this point. So fortunately having to bump Albertor. Now if I went past I could have probably held my own against him, because throughout this stint, in fact, I was managing to keep in his dirty air, which is quite difficult at Interlagos, I would say, because you do lose lots of time, especially in the mid-speed corners through the dirty air. Now John D actually behind us is managing to gain on us, but I feel like we could definitely break away from him, so I'm using a little bit of overtake there. Again, I was just using it whenever I felt I was losing time on the exit, the slow corners. Like there, not getting a particularly brilliant exit, so just going to use up a little bit of the overtake to compensate for the lost time there. And down the main straight then, breaking away from John D behind, so that's obviously a good sign. But set at 18.1, not the greatest, but to be fair we did lose a lot of time through Sherpa going for the pass on us, so he has broken away at this point, which is just making it clear as day that he is on the soft tyres. Otherwise he would have probably not even overtaken us, to be honest. So John D behind with a 1.5 second penalty, presumably for cutting the inside of turn 1, and then just there, just going a little bit wide of the apex. Really frustrating, because the dirty air is so bad in these cars. If you get the line wrong once, you can lose 2/10 maybe. It's that bad. So through the slow section, then just clipping the inside curb, we didn't really get the greatest line there. Albertor getting about a 10.5 on us through there, and then through the hairpin I was really struggling throughout the combo. Really, just really couldn't find the right line. Then again short shifting on the exit of the penultimate corner, mainly because I didn't want to go wide, and also I have to save a little bit of fuel in this first stint to make up for the 3% or so that I lost and to start it by fuel burn. So end of lap 8 then, Rick going into the pits. Now at this point I believe I should have pitted, because you know I was in the perfect place to potentially undercut Albertor, because you know being 7/10 behind, just about the slip, but you're still going to get the dirty air, and then you're just going to drop out. So really should have pitted there, and that could have had massive benefits throughout the course of the race, as you'll see in a bit. So into turn 4 then, clipping the apex fairly nicely, but we did lose quite a bit of time there, mainly because of the dirty air. We just couldn't get up the power quickly enough, so using a bit of overtake. At this point we've got about 40% overtake left and we're only just on lap 9, so it's not looking brilliant in terms of that at the moment, but we are keeping up with him, which I didn't expect, to be honest, given he is a much better driver than me. And to be honest, I was quite happy that I managed to even qualify at the front, because in the previous slot I qualified at the back and it was just a recovery drive throughout the whole race, given that also I died on lap 1 because I got taken out. So then out of the final corner again, massive oversteer moment, and at that point we were actually in the slipstream still, so that's lost us about 2.5 tenths or so, using a bit of overtake to make up for that mistake. But now, when we were about 7 tenths behind, we're now 9 tenths behind. So as we make our pit stop then, as we look at the gorgeous distinct livery, absolutely beautiful, really like the colour scheme on this car, also in general for the distinct liveries. So out of the pits then, as you can see, the gap between me and Albertor is quite large, but I feel like we can definitely gain here, as we know, as I know at least, what the softs feel like. So as you can see there, it was a bit conservative and we're already back in the slip. But to be honest, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because we are going to get the dirty air now, so it is going to be a bit of a pain to manage, but I feel like we can probably get past him at this point if we just really put our foot down and get on with it. But just get a bit of oversteer there on the apex, really not helping. Lost about a tenth and a half there. Every mistake in this car is absolutely critical, so the less mistakes you make, the better you'll end up. So into the final corner then, brake just before the 50 board and then get on the power super early. But this is our fastest lap of the race, and so as you can see that I just set a 15.6, but that was with no slipstream, I believe. So through the first sector there, not too bad, managed to get on the power as early as I could, and then into turn 4 then, bit too aggressive on the brakes I feel like. Definitely could have braked a bit earlier and got a better exit. However, there is time to find in this middle sector, so really going for it at this point, just trying to push flat out to catch up to Albertor and particularly Sherpa as well. So into the long left, really difficult to get right in this car. So Albertor actually makes a bit of a mistake, goes wide onto the grass, and he is going to have dirty tyres, so we are going to be able to close up. So through the penultimate corner then, sticking to the inside, and we are still purple, but that is because I believe Damien used up a lot of overtake on this back straight, and we have to be very sparing with it because Sherpa is just a couple seconds up the road, and when we need to pass him, we're going to have to use all of the overtake that we can. So into the first corner then, set 15.5, which isn't too bad given that we barely used any overtake. So like if we did use overtake, we could have done 0.3 possibly. So only 3 tenths behind Albertor now, and at this point I could have definitely gone for a huge send, but I didn't feel like it was worth it at this moment in time. So again here, we do get a better exit, and I feel like at this point if I went for the move, that would have just compromised us both. So I decided to stay behind, possibly wait for turn 1, and then into the braking. So we actually give him a bit of a nudge. We braked a little bit too late, I feel, for that corner, and that's going to compromise our exit as well. Now we were about 3 tenths behind before the double hairpins, and now we're half a second behind, or even more than that really. So yeah, just one mistake, and just like that, game over. So at this point, lap 15, Albertor's broken our slip. I feel as though I just couldn't keep up with him because I was in his dirty air, so I was killing my tyres. So at this point, he's going for the move on Sherpa. I was going to have it completed before turn 1. Sherpa tucks it behind and gets in his slipstream. Now Albertor actually went a little bit wide there on the exit of the corner, so he definitely lost a little bit of time. So we've still got a little bit of overtake left that we could use when we try to pass Sherpa possibly on the next lap, because we're only second behind And bear in mind, he's on mediums and he's in dirty air, so he should be able to close up very, very quickly. As you can see there, gained about 3/10 already just in one corner. And then through here as well, gaining even more, because the mediums don't have the same amount of grip as the softs at this stage. So really closing up. However, he does get the better line, I feel, and he is able to gain a little bit of time that could be useful for the main straight. So into the hairpin, they're just braking a little bit too late. He is actually going to get a fairly solid exit. That is going to gain him quite a bit of time. Now into the final corner, then take a much better line than Sherpa, I feel, so we are going to gain quite a lot of time. And also with the slipstream and a bit of boost in hand, I feel like it's going to be a very easy pass. So as you can see there, cutting to the replay camera, we fly past him using the overtake button, and we move up into 4th position. So I feel like we could have been in 3rd had we had a better strategy, but the tyres would have also been an issue at the end, as the tyres definitely dropped off in the last few laps. So as you can see, they're back in Albertor's slip, so we definitely have the pace. We've also broken slip from Sherpa at this point, so we can definitely try and go for the move on Albertor if we manage to keep this up. So into turn 1 then, a little bit too tight on the first apex. He's going to get a really good exit actually, really difficult to keep up with him, to be fair. And again, in hindsight, I should have pitted earlier, but also the tyres were a huge concern for me, because in the last race I also did 9 laps on the mediums at the start, and I knew that that was a tried and tested strategy, so I just went with that. I think that was the main factor. I didn't really think about what was going on in the actual race. So into the double headers, and actually what's something to bear in mind is we're only about 3.7 seconds away from the leader, so possibly if they start to battle extensively we could be able to catch up, but it is very unlikely as Rick has broken or has lost the slipstream to Kellisful in P1. So out the final corner then, he's broken our slip once again, and I highly doubt we're going to be able to get back in because we've got no overtake and the tyres are not looking particularly great. So we're going to skip forward then to the end of lap 20. It's going to be P4. Albertor did manage to gain quite a lot on us in the last 2 laps, but the tyres were dead, and my main focus was making sure Sherpa couldn't close up. I wasn't really focused on Albertor on that one. But yeah, it was a good race. I felt like I definitely had more pace than I usually did, but that was mainly combo dependent. So P4, 342 points in the bag, not too bad. So if you could take the time to subscribe, that would be great, and also leave a like. But take care everyone, and goodbye.